And we're live.
Morning.
Morning. Happy Friday.
Yeah, it is Friday.
Oh, it is.
Okay.
Yep. It's one of those where I'm like, yeah, it's Friday.
Yeah.
I like the weekends. I had a lot of work tasks this week that I didn't get done.
Yep.
That I'm really excited to just be offline.
Yes.
And get some actual work things done.
I feel like the weekends are good for the creative space work things where it's like when somebody interrupts, it's so frustrating that doing them during the day on the week is really hard. Like
I didn't even try.
Weekends for.
I didn't even try.
Yeah.
Like my calendar was just so slammed this
Yeah.
week with just stuff.
Yep.
That I didn't even try. I was just like, you know what? I'm just not even going to force it. I'm just going to surrender to the fact that we're in a lockdown situation and I can't go anywhere anyway. So I might as well get some work done on the weekend.
Do you know what I did yesterday? Because of that exact feeling, I sat down and I'm like, what is it I really need to get done this weekend? And I made a plan for Saturday and Sunday, and it was so lovely. I was like, okay.
I'm going to do that this afternoon. Yeah, as my weekly wrap up, I'm going to do that this afternoon and be like, all right, let's go through the tasks and everything that I pushed.
Yeah.
It wasn't, urgent or somebody else wasn't waiting on a deadline from me because I'm usually the stinking bottleneck.
Yep.
I got all that stuff done. And which is a really interesting shift, by the way, when you know that you have to get your work done because somebody else is depending on it for their job. Then you do that work first, and then you get to the other stuff that is your own job responsibilities, which is an interesting shift. And it just seemed like this week there was a lot of people wanting my approval on a variety of things.
Totally.
So that's just a little behind the scenes as to the next level when you move out of the day-to-day and there's people doing the day-to-day, but you still need to provide approval. You must do that. And then your own work gets pushed.
You must do that.
Because then they start to panic.
Of course.
And then your own work gets pushed. But that's not what we're talking about.
Nope.
That's for a whole other conversation.
Good conversation.
You know what? That's a good convo. What's it really like to be a CEO? What do you do all day? It's mostly just meetings and approvals, to be totally honest.
Yep.
Thinking, meetings, approvals.
Yeah.
So we didn't finish the conversation from yesterday. Because I said that we would talk about pricing your program or service and upsells and downsells, and we really only got to the pricing your program part. So we want to go through what that looks like in terms of your overall pricing. We did talk about how we teach our clients to have their revenue from one source until they get to a place where that one source is consistent month after month, 3 months in a row.
Yep.
Then you can start to upsell or downsell. So what do you want to start with a little bit of a recap about that?
Oh, I do. And I'm not going to smack the desk today. I'm going to keep my hands where you can see them, just so y'all know I'm conscious of it today.
Yeah.
I am fired up. Okay. When it comes to pricing your program or service, you have to remember that in order to successfully grow any program or service, you have to focus on that until it is converting and working and making you money and giving clients results. So the very first thing to think about is, what is the one thing? What is the one thing that you are going to offer that is your primary means of generating revenue and working with clients? Decide on the one thing. Step one. Step two, now that we have the one thing, how much revenue do you want to make in a year? You have to make a decision on this before you can reliably price anything, sell anything, make plans, hit goals, grow, all of those things in the business. What do you want to make? And from there, divide that number by 12. That's what you need to make each month. Once you have that number, I think we used 50,000 yesterday.
We did.
And if you divide that by 12, it's like 4,200 a month or something along those lines.
Yeah.
So then from there you go, okay, I need to make $4,200 a month. And you can either, if you have a price that you already have in mind, you figure out how many clients you would then need to get. And if that's realistic, if you don't already have a price in mind, you can say, okay, how many clients, can I handle at any given time? You divide the amount you want to make by the number of clients you can handle. That is what you need to price your main offering, program, service at, in a nutshell.
Yeah. And I'm just going through the comments as you were talking from yesterday, and we have people who were like, yeah, 60K by the end of the year, 200K, 50K,
Awesome.
25, 300, 100, 250, yeah, 48.
Love it.
240. So it's good. Like, I love seeing this because
Yes.
one of the goals that we have with this company, with the Wellness Business Hub, is to change the way that practitioners and coaches think about and operate their businesses. And I know from years of working with practitioners and coaches that when I would ask the question, so how much money do you want to make this year? I would be met with like a blank stare.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't know. What do you mean? Like, I've never thought about it before. And it would blow my mind that it was never thought about before. And again, not your fault, because any of our professional training does not actually set us up for business success.
Yeah.
It sets you up to know a lot of things. Book smart.
Great. That's great.
Wonderful. But it does not set you up for actual practice success or business success. Otherwise,
As I just have to add this because it's really funny. As you were saying that, I was in my head popped up like, could you imagine if you were like deciding whether or not to take a job and you had no idea what it paid and like zero comprehension about like what you would make every week or every month? Like,
what would you, like, exactly.
It's just so interesting. Yeah. Like when we think about it this way, it's like, why is it that we almost lose all sense of like practicality when it comes to transitioning over to the business side of things? Like, it's
because we're so entrenched in this idea of being helpful and you just want to help people.
Oh my
and
gosh.
It's you just want to help people, and you went to school and I just want to help people.
Yeah.
And it's this whole, I have not spoken to or heard, and maybe this exists, a single practitioner or coach from anywhere in the world, in any designation, when I say, what do you want to do? And they're like, oh, I just want to be rich. Like, I just want to like make money.
True.
Nobody says, like, I've never heard that before. I've never heard somebody be like, yeah, I became a naturopathic doctor to be wildly successful.
Yep.
Which is radically upsetting. Because those two things can coexist.
Yes, they can.
But I think that in health and wellness and coaching specifically, that is not the motivation in the same way that it would be to like become a lawyer, right? When you become a lawyer, you know that you're going to, well, depending, I guess, on the kind of law or whatever, but like, you know that. But when you go into a healing profession, especially in alternative health or coaching, you do it because you just want to help people and you feel this need to help and be of service. And that's why it doesn't occur to even think about the money side of it and the financial side of it, or the system side, or the process side, or the marketing side, because you are taught and your identity is wrapped up in being a clinician, not a business owner who happens to be a clinician.
Yes.
And when you make that switch, everything shifts for you. That's part of your money story, right?
Yes.
When you make that shift from, I just really want to help people and I would do this for free if I could. And, you know, I feel like everybody deserves equal access, which is true, but not the reality, right?
Yep.
And it's fine. Like, I don't need to charge a lot because I really just want to help people, right? When you change that to, I am now going to start and grow a highly successful business so that I can use the profit from my business to make sure that I can serve those who aren't able to afford it, right? So that you can provide equitable access to those who can't afford it. But when you prioritize the business growth over sort of your clinician status, let's say, the business grows, you become a better clinician by virtue of the fact that the business grows, and you sort of tick all the boxes that you ever wanted to tick because you prioritized the growth of the business.
Yeah, they're tied together. Like, unless you grow the business, you can't reach the level of people and be as helpful to the world as a whole as you want to be. You can't do one without the other.
Yes. So that's what Sandy's saying. She's saying, I had to tell myself several times and write it down. Yes, I want to help others, but it's okay to want to make a blank load of business at blank load of money at the same time.
Yes.
And here's the thing that I firmly believe, and we made a whole mini series around this. You know, when you give enough people what they want, you will get what you want in return.
Yes.
And it's the law of reciprocity. That's how this works, right? And so you have to want things, though.
You do.
Like, you have to want them. And so Jasmine saying, I'm struggling with this. I may have missed this, but which is better, a 3 or 6 month program? What's the best price for each? Should you also have a low end offer such as a 30-day? So let's answer those questions, because Laura might fly out of her seat if we don't answer them. And they're really good questions. And I love Jasmine's questions because these are the questions that we get all the time. And I am saying this with genuine respect, like genuine respect. This is the complete incorrect way to think about your business. And it's not because you're not capable, you're not smart. It's because you were never taught how to think like a business owner. You were taught how to think like a clinician. So when you ask, is 3 or 6 months better based on what metrics, right? And so this is like, if you ever only work with us to change your way of thinking, it would be worth it.
100%.
Like, if you literally signed up in the 10K online success system just with the intention of changing your way of thinking, you would get and did nothing else, you would get a massive ROI. So, because this ties into upsells or downsells, right? And the way that we want you to think about your business must change.
Yes, it must.
Or you will continue to make decisions based on what's better. With no information. So go ahead.
Okay. Number 1. It depends. What transformational result do you provide for your clients, and how long does it take for you to get that result? That's the very first thing you need to consider. What are you doing? What is the purpose of your business? What do people walk away with when they stop working with you, right? And how long does it take realistically for them to get that transformational result that's promised when they enroll? If it's 10 weeks, super cool. Your program is 10 weeks. If it's 3 months, great. It's 3 months. If it's 6 months, okay, 6 months. If it's a year, sure. The length of time doesn't matter. You have to start thinking about it from the business side. How long does it take from the client's time of registration till the client gets what the client wants, so that the client leaves happy and talks about how amazing their experience was, and more clients want to come in based on that, right? So that's number one. Number two, once you have that, that is your focus. There's no 30-day, there's no 7-day, there's no 45-day, there's no 42-hour. There's nothing else until that program service offering is converting and making you steady, reliable income so that you can count on steady, reliable clients, which then allows you to take your eye off of that, half an eyeball off of that, let it continue running, and then move over and add in another option, an upsell, a downsell, another option. That's it. Simplified. Does that answer?
Yeah, I think so. And this is why mentorship and training and strategic advisory is important.
Yes.
Is important. It's to say, you know what? I don't know how to make these decisions, and I want to learn how to critically think about them.
Yes.
So that you don't keep recycling this inefficient way of making choices simply because you don't have the skill set and the know-how to make these types of decisions. It's like if you were going to become a plumber, before you fix a toilet, you have to understand where all the pipes are. You have to understand what leads to what. And if you put this one here, what's the outcome? And you have to learn how to critically think. We were talking about this actually yesterday in a meeting. We were like, critical thinking and really understanding critical thinking is important.
Yeah.
Right? And all of that. And so, with this specifically for Jasmine, it's like, which is better?
So Jasmine says she helps Christian women entrepreneurs get the sustained energy so they can do their God-given work. How long does that take?
How long does that take? Right? What sort of first level transformation can you give them?
Yeah.
Then when you decide that we can say best practices, best practices tell us that a 3 or 4, so a 12 or 16 week program from a commitment and a sales perspective without knowing any other details is sort of the optimal range that you want to go. So a 3 or 4 month program, right? But again, it depends. If you're working with, for example, like obese or like really burnt out women, maybe they need more time and 6 months would be better.
Yep.
Right? Maybe whatever that is, right? Whatever that looks like for you, right? And so, should you have, what is the best price for each? Well, again, it depends.
Yeah.
Right? It depends. Should you offer an upsell or a downsell? It depends. So let's talk about what upsells and downsells are and how to know when to include them.
Okay. Downsell. Let's start there. A downsell is something that you can offer somebody who chooses not to take your main offer. So they've said no, this is not for them for whatever reason. A downsell is something that is smaller, lesser in price, less time, less transformation, all of those things. Upsell is the opposite. An upsell is something that when somebody does engage with you and takes advantage of your transformational offer, it is an opportunity for them to add on to that in some way, shape, or form, to make the transformation faster, to make the transformation easier, to continue the transformation after the initial allotted time. That is an upsell.
Yeah.
That's it.
And a downsell?
We did downsell.
Oh, we did downsell. Sorry. I zoned out for a minute.
I could tell.
I just got caught up in the upsells. So how do we know when to do both?
This is a really good question. And again, this is where critical thought has to come in, because there's no like standard textbook answer. And I would actually say if somebody gives you a standard textbook answer, then I would be very wary of taking future advice from that person, because a lot of it is going to depend on what happens during the sales process of your main offer, right? So let's start with a downsell. Your main offer will likely have a sales process that involves a conversation, right? In some way, shape, or form, you're going to have a conversation with the person to see if you can actually help them, if they're a good fit, if they're like, motivated to come in and do the things and make the change, all of that stuff. So that sales process over time will evolve into a sales cycle. It will evolve into an average amount of time it takes people to make a decision to say, yes, this is for me, or no, this is not for me. And this is why you don't introduce downsells immediately, because you don't know that yet, right? So once you have your signature program converting, reliable, doing its thing, you have sales data and you can figure out what your sales cycle is, right? So let's say your sales cycle is 14 days. Your people take an average of 14 days from the time they talk to you to the time they say yes or no. If they have not said yes on day 15, guess what you can offer them? Your downsell, right? You don't immediately default to a downsell unless you have data that everybody says yes or no immediately, right? You don't want to remove the possibility of them saying yes to the main offer, because that's how you can help them best. That's where you want them to land.
Right.
But if they're not ready, if it's genuinely not feasible financially, if it's genuinely not feasible time-wise, or they're just like, I don't value it enough, then you can move on and you downsell.
Right.
That makes sense?
Yeah. And what I would say too, with multiple offers, like a 30-day detox or a 21-day something, or like having your signature program and then like running workshops and doing this and doing that, especially when you're new, I would say, again, sub 200K, not even 100.
Yep.
Right? When you're constantly, and we saw this and we made decisions and we're at millions, right? And so when you take your foot off one pedal to change cars, to drive a different car, the road is different. The gas is different. Everything is different. And so you're constantly stopping and starting and stopping and starting and stopping and starting, and you're never able to gain momentum. And people in your audience need to see the offer 10, 15, 20 times
over and
over again. And so if you're only promoting your signature program like 2 or 3 times a month because you're busy trying to sell a 21-day detox for $27 and your membership for $47, it's like you're really going to have a hard time making headway with any particular offer, because you need to have the consistency of one thing over and over and over and over again. It's like any skill you want to get good at, right? If you wanted to learn how to ride a unicycle, which I remember back in the day when we started this, we talked about a unicycle.
We did. Yep.
If you wanted to get good at your unicycle, what would you do every day? You'd get on the damn unicycle and you'd ride the unicycle. It's not like one day you'd get on a skateboard to get better at the unicycle.
No,
right?
You don't go juggle on a Tuesday.
Right. Nope. It doesn't work that way. So it's like, if you want to get better, if you want to, improve your signature program, if you want to increase engagement, do all of those things, then you have to stay the course long enough for it to actually pick up momentum, which usually happens in month 3.
Yeah.
3, right? So think about it this way. You start and you're like 2-3 weeks in and you're like, nobody's paying attention. Nobody's doing anything. And you jump ship because you're like, nobody's paying attention. Oh, must be the price. How could it be the price when like they haven't even gotten on a call with you? They don't even know the price. How could it be the program if they haven't gone through it yet? It's not.
Yes, it's not the program.
It's not the program and it's not the price because they don't know what those things are yet.
Yes.
Right? It's either too new of an offer and they're like, I don't know what this is, and or you need to change your marketing.
Yes.
And so if you stick with it and you start to pay attention to the posts that work well and to the way that people pay attention to you, and then you get some calls and you gain momentum and your confidence grows and you're able to put yourself out there more, and then your confidence grows and you book more calls. And like by month 3, you're like, oh, but it's spring, I want to run a detox. And you completely.
That's all the time. All the time.
Don't do that. Don't do that for a 21-day detox for $47. Don't do that.
No.
Right? And so this is why we're saying like stick with the one thing, and with the upsells and the downsells or the low barrier offers, I would be really weary of taking business strategy advice from those people who are not specific in the health industry.
Yes.
Because a low barrier offer and an immediate upsell or downsell probably works best in outside industries. But when we are talking about
100%,
like changing a habit, or a lifestyle, a cheap offer is good if we're talking about, not really caring about the results, because let's be honest, right?
Yeah.
And B, what we know is that when somebody buys something, it feels cathartic to them. So the pressure releases. So when somebody who really should be working in a 12-week or 14-week program with you, because that is the level of support that they need, goes and buys a 21-day juice cleanse or detox or whatever, then, they are releasing their pressure, they're releasing the pain, and they're like, oh, I feel better because I just bought this like 17-day thing or this 30-day thing, or I bought 3 sessions with a nutritionist or a health coach or a therapist of any kind. And their release of pressure goes down, but they're not really getting the transformation that they desire. Because we know that a 21-day detox, while I'm using this as an example, right? And with no disrespect to those of you who have 21-day detoxes, I'm just sort of using it as like a proverbial thing.
Yes.
But like, whether it's like a 4-week program, it doesn't matter what it is. Or, I think if you offered it as this is the tip of the iceberg and you had an upsell that followed it immediately, then that would be cool. Right? If you were like, listen, I'm going to invite you into my 21-day detox. And for those of you that want to continue, there's an opportunity, and you really seeded that from the beginning because that is the level of care that they need. And you really, really seeded that, then cool. Right? That's awesome.
But we're going to go back to critically thinking here and we get this question a lot when new people come into our program. So this is a really good example. Yes, that is a strategy that actually can work really well. Except that how many 21-day detoxes for $47 do you need to sell to upsell the right amount of people into your signature program where you can actually make the level of income you want to make every month, every year? How many? Because generally, it's going to be a lot. And in order to sell a lot, you have to run a lot of traffic so that the offer is in front of a lot of people, which requires a significant advertising budget, thousands a month.
Yes. And so here's flat out, I'm just going to give you some advice, some unsolicited advice, but you're watching us on a platform that
It's
you chose
solicited.
to be on.
Yeah, it's solicited
So
here.
here's what I would say. For the time being, until you hit six figures, $100,000, until your business is generating $8,000 to $15,000 a month, don't offer these low barrier things. It's not worth your time. It's not entirely helpful to the clients or the patients. It might be better for you to run something like that as a challenge for free, for example, to earn goodwill and seed the program throughout.
Yes.
Because when somebody pays you $27 or $97, we talked about this yesterday, their expectation is the same as someone who paid you $19.97. Those two expectations are the same, right? They're the same. And so, that's how it goes. And for the time being, you will feel a sense of relief when you can just focus on the one thing. And as Laura said yesterday, if, as Violetta's saying here, I guess they feel safer because they're cheaper, start at a low price.
Yep.
And if all you want to sell is a $97 thing, then go for it. But then put all the eggs in that basket. Like, what we're saying is stop flip-flopping. Like, that's the worst thing you can do. The worst thing you can do is, in your mind, I'm trying so hard to sell my signature program and nobody's buying. But you're not, though. Like, you might feel like you are. But when we look at it and we're like, okay, well, how many emails did you send about it this month? How many, Facebook Lives did you do about it this month? How many posts were directly talking about it? How many case studies? Like, we can measure.
Yes.
We can measure, and you're like, oh, well, I decided to promote this thing over here, and then I decided to promote that thing over there. And we're like, well, no wonder. No wonder. So all we're saying is, and maybe I should have phrased it that way from the beginning, is pick one thing, whether that's the $97 thing or the $1997 thing, right? But pick one thing and go all in on the one thing.
Yes. And think critically about how your yearly revenue goals, your monthly revenue goals, how you are going to meet them with the one thing.
Yeah.
Really think about it, because that's what being a CEO, that's what owning a business is.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. You overestimate how much you are working when you don't keep track.
Ooh, that's good.
Because there's all the feelings.
Yes, the feelings are heavy.
The feelings make it feel like you are exhausting all options, and then you come to us and we're like, what are you actually doing with your time, though?
Yeah.
Right? Like, what are you doing? And so, it's 10 after 10, Laura. I just saw Jasmine. She's like, thank you, ladies. I'm like, wait, what time it is? What time is it? Okay.
We're
going to rein it in
because we were fired up about this stuff.
Here's the thing. Whether you ever decide to work with us in the 10K online success system or in any other official capacity, clearly we give a shit.
Yes.
So clearly.
So much.
And it's because it hurts our hearts to see these mistakes simply because you weren't set up for success from the start.
Yes.
With critical thinking and know-how and the ability to discern what's best for you in your business. And this idea that the thoughts that you have might not actually be the correct way to go because of your money story, because of getting, mentorship or coaching from people who are outside of the industry that we all work in, telling you, no, you need a low barrier offer. And we're like, please don't do that. No. And we have hundreds of people of data to say that doesn't work. It's not just like my opinion, right?
No. Data, metrics.
Yeah. So we hope this is helpful for you. And if you have questions, the best thing to do is get mentorship. You can go to thewbh.com/fast track, one word, fast track, and go and get some mentorship from our advisors. Ask them these questions. This is what we are here for, to support you in getting started and growing online in a proven, responsible, successful way. Yes, absolutely. So have a good weekend, everybody, and we will talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye.